Nigerian legislation and I think politics or that is nephew Bala, had already resigned by a letter dated 17th of July 2025, which the resignation took effect from the 26th of July 2025. Then the then national chairman, Raf, wrote to INEC. I cited that a copy of that letter today. Okay. Certified copy from INEC. Wrote to INEC, and that document was certified even from INEC legal department. Okay. Wrote to INEC on the 27th of July 2027, notifying INEC notice of resignation. Please take notice that the deputy national chairman, Bala, had resigned his position. Please, this is for record purposes so that you can put up your record. A copy of his resignation is hereby attached for your insightful perusal. Okay. INEC being in possession of this document, Bala now moved to court on the 2nd of September 2025. Before then, the ADC had already concluded their coalition and whatever restructuring as internally provided under ADC constitution. Okay. And David Mark led administration came into force, took over.
It's the same July.
Yes, and took over. Only Bala, who is not only the executive member of the executive committee of the party, went to court. And after he filed the action, he put up a motion for injunction, put up a motion ex parte for interim order to stop INEC from recognizing Mark and what have you. The judge at the Federal High Court...
After resignation, what informed that stance, that move?
I wouldn't know. After you resigned in July, you waited till September. What must happen? I wouldn't know what happened. But I will come to that as a political arithmetic that must have led to him going to court. So, but he has right to go to court. That is fundamental. All right. Now, when that happened, the judge gave an order, hearing the motion expert and said, INEC, the respondents are hereby put on notice to show cause why the order ex parte interim should not be made.
All right, Vincent, hold that thought, because my guest on Zoom is already standing by, so we'll just relate with him and then we'll come back to the studio. Thanks for joining the program, the spokesperson from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in person of Wilfred Osilama Ifoga. Thank you for joining us in the program tonight. Now, let me ask you, beginning from this angle. The 2027 election activities they have already kicked off. Whether campaigns have begun or not, it is immaterial right now. But, activities are in full swing. Now, how is the voter education responsibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, going? Because whether you like it or not, many Nigerians are still in the dark as to what needs to be done and going forward as the elections approach.
Good evening, and thanks for having me. Yes, for the Commission, some weeks back, precisely in the month of February, the notice of election was actually given earlier on, and that was based on the Electoral Act 2022. Then when the 2026 Electoral Act was enacted, the Commission did review its electoral timetable, which now saw that not earlier than 300 days to the election, the notice of election should be publicized. And that was done. And also, a revised timetable was published. And in that revised timetable, the presidential election and National Assembly election will now take place on the 16th of January, 2027. And likewise, for the governorship elections and the State House of Assembly elections, that will now be 6th of February. Then other activities followed suit, and about 14 activities were actually outlined in that timetable that was read out, which also include the parts where political parties have to also, present a register of their party as prescribed, and also the dates, the range in which we expect them to conduct their nominations and primaries as well, and many other activities, including when campaigns should start, when they should also submit details of their political party agents. And apart from that, even as we speak, the continual voter registration exercise is going on. Like you did mention, what efforts is the Voter Education and Publicity Department putting to ensure that people are actually informed about our activities? Yes, with the timelines we have and the activities we have on our schedule,
Okay.
we are going to publicize and let people know about the activities which they are supposed to know about. And more so right now, as the activities we meet up with the timeline, we will definitely publicize which we are having. So right now, as we go towards the 2027 general election, what we have having right now is the continuous voter registration exercise. And we are already in the second phase.
All right,
And the
talking
second
about,
phase
Wilfred,
ends
talking about,
on the 17th of this April.
all right, talking about voter registration, where, you know, when it concerns voters, that's where the real concern for the electorate really comes. Now, a lot of Nigerians have the concern that, you know, the voter register is still sort of clogged up, that it needs to be cleaned up. You know, there are people who have unfortunately passed on for a long time now. INEC has not really, you know, notified Nigerians whether it has cleaned them up or not. So how far is it coming along?
All right. As you're aware, there was a memo that is currently flying on most of the media right now about the commission on the revalidation exercise we're about to have of our register. Yes. Early this year in January, the commission did have a retreat, and in that retreat, the plan to have a revalidation of all registered voters will be carried out. So, and even as we speak, plans are on top jar. Likely in this month, details of it will be published very soon. And in that, all registered voters, right from 2011 to 2024, registered voters, it's expected that they will, you know, come for this process where we will now conduct a revalidation of their voting status. Well, from the way we have designed it to carry out, it will be very seamless. So already I know people are actually experiencing apprehension about how it's going to be, but for what I want to assure them is that the process will be very seamless. So irrespective of your status and whether you are computer savvy or not, you'll be able to do it. Because from what we have actually mapped out, it is going to be both physical for those who choose that method and also online for those who will also approach that method. So irrespective of where you are, whether you're outside Nigeria or not, and you're a registered voter, right from 2011 to 2024, you should be able to, you know, revalidate your status, and the commission also will take record of that. And some of the credit of that is that, first of all, it will ensure that only those that are alive will be actually captured, and more so, it will help to also, you know, increase the capability of the beavers to be able to recognize them on election day by ensuring their biometric feature, especially the facial picture, will also be properly captured this time around.
All right. You see, the political parties are going through quite a lot of challenges right now, internal crises, and registrations, resignations, alignment, realignments, and all of that. What is INEC doing at this time, therefore? Because, as again I mentioned earlier, time is ticking regarding some of these hurdles facing the political parties, especially opposition parties. For instance, what we saw in the last 24 hours regarding one of the opposition political parties, in order for them to still be on the ballot, since they are registered political parties with your organization. Wilfred, I have lost your sound. I can't quite hear you right now. Could you speak up a bit louder? Unfortunately, we've lost the sound, the quality of audio with Wilfred Osulama-Ifoga, the INEC spokesperson. But we will try to reconnect with him as we move on. Oh, Wilfred.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Please go ahead with the response to that question.
All right. In terms of political party activities, I think some weeks back, the commission did meet with all the leaders of the political parties to brief them and show them a draft guideline for conduct of political parties as far as INEC is concerned with them. And it's expected that they uphold internal democracy properly. While they do theirs, we on our part do our own. So we encourage them to, you know, uphold by the rules of the game. I think that is the best we can do, while also on our part. And they should also remember that the activities timeline have been published. So we expect them to, you know, adhere strictly to it so that they will not be cut out of time. I think that is the best advice we give to them. But for the activities whatever realignment and alignment they are having now, it's expected. So we expect them to do it with high level of respect for each other. And at the end of the day, we believe they should be able to come out of it.
Before I call it a night with you, let me just add this. The stance that you took yesterday regarding the ADC may have sort of demoralized, some people, and indeed other Nigerians and sympathizers of the party. How is it going? I mean, how is it coming along? Because this is rather unexpected, especially at this time when convention is approaching and primaries and all of that.
Okay, and what I have to say is that the Independent National Electoral Commission is an establishment of the law. So whatever we do is guided by the law, and also to uphold whatever ruling is given by the court as well. So the statement that was given by the commission yesterday was actually based on the order by the court. So it was not a decision just taken by the commission. So the commission is there to uphold the law because it is a making of the law as well. So we won't break any law concerning the electoral process. Just like advised in the statement, it also asks them when they are done and the court gives a final decision that the commission will also abide by it. So I think that's just our take on that.
Spokesperson of the Apex Electoral Body, Wilfred Osila-Maifoga. Thanks indeed for joining the program tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Vincent. INEC just spoke one more time that it has nothing to do with it, that it is the decision of the court they're simply, abiding by.
Okay, permit me to clear that my thoughts before the...
Oh, please,
so,
by all means.
So after the court gave order for parties to show cause why the interim order should not be made to recognize David Mark approached the court of appeal, by way of setting aside the order to show cause. That was where what the appeal court delivered ruling on the 12th of March. 1, dismissing the appeal filed by Mark and ordering status quo that parties should not do anything that will undermine the pendency of the suit at the trial at the Federal High Court.
All right.
So the presupposition, the connotation, and the meaning of that proposition of law by the Court of Appeal is that the status quo ante bellum, as at the time the suit was filed, should be maintained. That is, before the suit was filed, should be maintained. Now, if you calculate the status quo from the point of 29th of July 2025 up to September, David Mark had been acting as the national chairman of ADC, recognized by INEC under the former administration of Mohamed Yakubu. So INEC have taken a stand recognizing the administration. Now, if you take the status quo as to the time the suit was filed on the 2nd of September, David Mark is still the active national chairman, as the case may be. So INEC cannot interpret judgment of a court. INEC action seems to be that they have now prejudged the matter filed by Bala. They have already known the outcome by the action they have taken. They have not decided the matter. They are now a judge in their own case. As a party to the suit, you are taking action that seems to undermine the pendency of the suit.
Unfortunately, we don't really have time today. Let me ask you now.
I want to conclude on this point.
Okay.
Finally, INEC must know, as an umpire, a constitutional umpire founded on the democratic principles, that by Section 287 of the Constitution, Supreme Court is the final court in the land. And all judgment of Supreme Court must be enforced by INEC and all authorities throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Supreme Court have held in Anyanwu versus Sunday Ude and PDP, famous case of last year.
I remember.
Supreme Court gave judgment and said that internal affairs of a political party, leadership of political party is internal affairs and cannot be entertained in any court of law. And the INEC has no duty or responsibility to contribute or participate in choosing the leaders of a political party.
What options does the ADC have right now?
The options are very clear. The powers of INEC under the Electoral Act Section 82, sub 3, to attend and monitor. Supreme Court have held in litany and copy of cases that it is just to come there and observe. It's like a housemaid when the meeting is going on. You just sit down and watch. INEC
you really need their permission.
I'm coming. They said, Section 82, sub 3 said, the commission, which or without prior to notice, shall attend. So the failure to attend does not invalidate the exercise. What is important that will invalidate it is that Section 82, sub 6, which says a political party that fails to give INEC 21 days notice for its convention and primaries outcome of that primary convention or meeting shall be invalid. But ADC have given them adequate notice recognized by law. So whether they monitor or they don't monitor does not arise because the matter is pending before the court. Okay. INEC's action seems to overreach the matter that is before the court. ADC can still proceed and conduct their national convention competently, and national officers will come out fine and good. When then we've got that position has already been there before that matter went to court. Okay. David Mark is still has assumed office, carried out function.
Before this arose.
Before this arose, writing to INEC correspondences. INEC at a point invited them for a meeting, and you must know that what INEC did on 9th of September was to upload his names and national executive led by Mark to their national portal. That does not mean that any action that has been taken by the executive is invalid.
But right now, it's no longer on the portal of INEC.
It doesn't matter. If it's not there, it doesn't matter. Affairs of a political party are internal affairs, Supreme Court has said.
Okay.
INEC should stop this interference in political activities of political parties. It is killing Nigerian democracy. It seeks to erode the public confidence we have in INEC as a public institution, and also threatening the integrity of electoral process. INEC must be seen to be umpire, neutral in political parties' activities. Why must it be all political parties destabilized in Nigeria? ADC is destabilized, they're in court. PDP is destabilized, they're in court. Labour Party is destabilized in court. Only APC that is cruising. We are all watching. Nigerians are watching. Electorate are watching. The INEC chairman should know. The legal profession, we are watching him. The professors in Nigeria are watching him. The academic world, where he came from, they are watching him. Even under my Professor Jega that time. In a case of critical thinking like this, that requires a lot of issues like this, Jega will constitute what we call legal consortium, then headed by Chief Awomolo and Chief Senior Advocate of Nigeria and Chief Onyechi Bazo, SN. They will come together with other eminent legal jurists, take all the judgment of the court, orders, and write opinion to INEC. I have done such cases like that, and they gave an opinion and say, INEC, follow this part. And in most cases, INEC will not do anything until Supreme Court gives final judgment, so you don't go back and front. Why must INEC, just without any positive order of a court, INEC should tell Nigerians, where there's any court of law, saying you should not recognize David Mark, or you should not monitor their convention, you will not monitor convention, you will not recognize David Mark, you will not recognize the Bala.
One more thing.
So the party will be partless.
Let me ask you one more thing. Is it possible that this stance by INEC could affect ADC's appearance on the ballot for the 2027 election?
It will not affect ADC. It will not affect ADC.
Yeah.